I wasn't supposed to be in her house that long. Just a busted faucet, a quick fix. But she kept forgetting things. Where the wrench was, where she'd put the plumber's tape, and every time she turned around, I found it harder to look away. I knew who she was. Ava Langford. My best friend's mom's best friend. She used to pick us up from soccer games when we were 12. Now I'm 23, and she's standing barefoot in her kitchen wearing a loose gray tee and leggings with a tear behind the knee. There's paint on her fingers. Her hair's tied up messy, like she gave up on trying. "Still dripping?" she asked, crouching down beside me. Her shoulder brushed mine. She didn't move away. "Yeah, looks like someone glued this washer on backward," I said, trying to focus. I could smell eucalyptus and coffee on her, sharp and soft at the same time. That someone was probably me. She laughed lightly. I watched a 5-minute YouTube tutorial and got cocky. I grinned without meaning to. "Well, you had the right idea. Just not the hands for it." She looked at me then, slowly, eyes trailing across my jaw like she hadn't really seen me until just now. "You grew up?" she said, soft and surprised. I paused. My wrench slipped. Water spat out in a hiss. Yeah," I muttered, tightening it again. She tilted her head. "No, I mean you grew up good. Real good." Her voice dipped a little into something warm, something almost too familiar. I didn't say anything. Couldn't. I was suddenly aware of how close her legs were to mine, how the kitchen had gone too quiet. Just the tick of a clock and the low hum of the fridge. She didn't look away. I wiped my hands on my jeans and stood up too fast. "It's fixed," I said, like that would cut the moment in half. Ava stood, too. Slower. Straighter. She looked like she used to be someone with a plan. But today she looked alone. "You staying for coffee?" she asked, nodding to the pot behind her. "Or too grown up and busy now?" That was her out. A joke. A test. I knew it. I should have said no. I should have grabbed my tool bag and left. But I didn't. I watched the way she leaned on the counter, one bare foot flexing on the tile like she couldn't get comfortable in her own kitchen. "Sure," I said. "If you've got sugar." That made her smile. Wide, full, unfiltered. The kind of smile that hadn't been used on me before. She poured 2 mugs, passed one to me, hand brushing mine. Longer than it needed to. Her fingers were cold, but they stayed for half a second too long. We didn't speak. Then she asked, "You seeing anyone these days?" I turned to her. She wasn't smiling anymore. My heart kicked once. Then again. "No," I said. She nodded slowly. A silence stretched. I sipped the coffee, burned my tongue, set it down. "I better." But she cut in. "You still jog in the mornings?" "Sometimes. I see you. From my window." Her eyes didn't flinch. "You always wear that faded blue shirt." I swallowed. "You notice that?" Her lips parted slightly. Her voice low now. "I notice more than I should." That was the moment. Not the words. The way she said them without apology. And then she stepped just a little closer, enough that her breath touched my collarbone, and said, "You missed a leak." But she didn't look at the sink. There was a second after she said it. "You missed a leak." Where we both just stood there. No movement. Just the hum of the fridge and the quiet press of too much air between us. She wasn't looking at the sink. She hadn't looked at the sink once. I turned away anyway. Coward move. I crouched, opened the cabinet again like there might be something else to fix. Something I could stare at that wasn't her mouth or her hands or the way she'd said, "I notice more than I should." My hands felt too big, like I didn't know what to do with them. She stepped behind me, leaning on the counter. "You okay?" she asked, like it wasn't obvious I wasn't. "Yeah," I said. "Just didn't sleep much." I hadn't slept because of her. Because I'd seen her 2 days ago at the grocery store. Arms full of wine bottles and frozen strawberries. Her face tired but still sharp as hell, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. About her saying hi like she barely remembered me, and then remembering too much. She'd just gotten out of something. I remembered. A divorce? Maybe longer ago than people thought. My friend had mentioned it once when we were drunk. Said Ava wasn't the same since. You still in school? She asked gently. No. Graduated in May. Right? She said. I forgot. Time's been weird lately. I glanced back. She was looking at her coffee, not drinking it, just holding it like it gave her something to do. It's weird for me to see you like this, she said softer now. Like grown. Here. In my kitchen. I smiled without looking at her. Weird how? She didn't answer right away. I noticed her nail polish was chipped. Her necklace was off-center. One of her sleeves had paint on it. Same pale green that was half-finished on the hallway wall. I guess I just thought you'd always be a kid running through the sprinklers in my backyard, she said. Now you're not. That landed heavy. I didn't know what to say to it. Didn't even know what she meant by it. I can go, I offered, unsure. Do you want to? Her voice was quiet, unassuming, but the question wrapped around me like a wire. I don't know, I said honestly. Do you want me to? That's when she walked closer. Not all the way, just enough that her scent hit me again. Clean laundry, and whatever she used in her hair. Her arm brushed mine like a test, like she was watching what I'd do if she touched me. I didn't move. I've got a bottle of Red Open, she said. From yesterday. Stupid to waste it. My throat tightened. It's only 2 o'clock. She smiled at the clock, not me. It's Sunday. I laughed quietly, more out of nerves than humor. I won't keep you, she added. But she didn't step back. I looked at her finally. Really looked. The small lines near her eyes. The way her lips stayed parted after she spoke. There was something fragile in her now. Not weakness, just something that used to be hard, now soft at the edges. I should have said no. Instead I said, 1 glass. Her hand landed on my forearm. Just rested there. Her thumb moved slightly, like she was thinking about something she wouldn't say. The wine was too warm and I didn't even like red much, but I drank it anyway. We were sitting on the couch now. Me on one side, Ava curled up on the other, barefoot, her knees pulled up under her. A worn throw blanket was bunched between us like it had history. There was music playing from a speaker I hadn't noticed earlier. Billie Holiday, faint, like memory. She told me about her kitchen reno plans. Halfway through, she forgot what she was saying, laughed and brushed her hair behind her ear. You always this nervous around me? She asked. I blinked. I'm not nervous. You're gripping the wine glass like it insulted your mother. I glanced down. She wasn't wrong. I just don't want to say something stupid, I admitted. Say it anyway. That surprised me. She said it without teasing, without flirt in her tone. Just open. I studied her for a second. The light from the window had shifted, brushing against her collarbone, softening the sharpness of her. I used to have a thing for you, I said quickly, then regretted it just as fast. When I was like 16. Stupid, obviously. Her eyebrows raised just slightly. Not mocking, just listening. And now? She asked quieter. The air thinned. The music scratched into a piano solo. I couldn't answer that. My mouth opened, nothing came out. Then her phone rang. We both flinched. She reached for it, checked the screen. Her hand hovered a beat too long before she hit decline. Sorry, she murmured. Someone important? She shook her head. My sister. She's nosy. A pause. Thinks I've been too isolated. I didn't know what to do with that, so I set my glass down. Slower this time. You can talk to me, you know, I said. She turned to face me more fully, one leg tucked beneath her now. Her eyes narrowed slightly, like she was trying to figure out if I was serious or just playing at something. No one ever really sees me like this, she said. Not since the divorce. Not In daylight, something flickered in my chest. Not lust, not quite sympathy. Something in between, recognition, maybe. I wanted to move closer, but I didn't. I leaned back instead. Put space where my body wanted the opposite. I should go soon, I said, though my voice didn't believe it. She nodded, looked away. Of course. And then, without looking back, she reached out and touched my knee. Just her fingers, resting lightly. Not grabbing. Not asking. Just there. I looked down at her hand, then at her. We sat like that for maybe 10 seconds. Maybe an hour. Her touch didn't move. Outside, a car door slammed. Somewhere distant, a dog barked. Inside, I could feel the tension sitting between us like a match waiting to be struck. She looked at me again and said, "You don't have to go." Not yet. Her hand was still on my knee. I hadn't moved. Neither had she. The wine sat untouched now, both glasses forgotten. The music had stopped, or maybe it hadn't, but all I could hear was the rhythm of my own breath and hers. Uneven, unsteady, close. "I shouldn't have said that," Ava murmured. She pulled her hand back slowly, as if it had been caught doing something it wanted too much. But she didn't apologize. I sat forward, elbows on my knees. "You meant it, though." She didn't answer. That was answer enough. "I don't know what this is," I said, staring at the rug, "or what you're doing. But if you're just lonely or bored, don't," she cut in firm, "don't shrink it like that." Her voice cracked a little. Not much, but enough. I turned to her, and she looked different. Not composed. Not in control. Her hands were clenched in the blanket now, knuckles white. "I'm not playing with you," she said. "I wouldn't do that." "Then what is this?" I asked. "Because I can't figure out if you want me here or if you're about to hate yourself for it." That hit something. Her eyes flicked away. She stood restless and crossed to the kitchen. She didn't pour more wine. She just stood there, facing the sink like she could disappear into it. "When you were 16, she said after a long pause, "I caught you looking at me once." I froze. "You were outside with your shirt off, covered in mud, laughing at something. Then you saw me on the porch. You looked at me like—" She trailed off. The quiet dragged between us. "You never said anything," I said. "You were 16. And now—" She turned, leaning against the counter. Her arms crossed tightly across her chest like she was holding something in. "I don't want to be careful anymore," she said. "But I'm so scared of being wrong about what this is." "You're not wrong," I said. Too fast. Too raw. "I think about you all the time. I can't—" I stopped myself. She was watching me now. Really watching. No amusement. No flirt. Just fear and hope knotted together. "I'm not a kid," I said, quieter. "You know that." "I know," she whispered. The tension pulled like thread between us, thin and sharp. I stood, took a slow step toward her. She didn't move. Another step. I was close enough to see the freckles on her collarbone. Close enough to touch her, but I didn't. Then she asked, "If you kiss me, do you think you'll still respect me in the morning?" I didn't breathe. Didn't answer. I just looked at her, really looked, and for the first time she didn't look older or wiser or out of reach. She just looked like someone waiting to be chosen. She didn't look away after she asked it. "If you kiss me, do you think you'll still respect me in the morning?" I opened my mouth to answer, but before anything could come out, her phone buzzed again. A loud, vibrating insistence that broke the silence in two. She glanced at it, didn't move. Then it buzzed again. This time, she walked over and picked it up, turned the screen to face me without speaking. "Jamie, my best friend." Jamie, her godson. My throat closed. She didn't answer the call, just let it ring out and locked the screen. "I didn't know," I said. Her voice was low, flat. "He said you were staying at your parents' this summer." I didn't think you two were even close anymore. We're not. Not really. But you're still him. She looked up, met my eyes. Still Jamie's friend. I didn't know what to say to that. The label felt wrong in my mouth now, like it didn't belong anymore. You think I planned this? She asked before I could speak. You think I wanted to feel like this about someone who used to be in my backyard playing video games and calling me Amos Langford? No, I said. But I think you're scared as hell. And I think I am too. She exhaled, sharp. This is stupid. We should stop. Before someone gets hurt. I nodded. But I didn't step back. She blinked hard. Her hands went to her temples like she was trying to press a headache away. I shouldn't have said anything, she murmured. This isn't me. I don't get like this. Maybe that's the problem, I said before I could stop myself. She froze. Looked up. What? You've been alone so long you forgot what it's like to want something. Or someone. So now it feels wrong just because it's real. Her jaw tightened. You don't know what I've been through. No, I said. But I know how you look at me when you think I'm not watching. Her silence was louder than any scream. I walked to the coffee table and picked up my keys. I'll go, if you want me to, but not because we did something wrong. She didn't move. Then, just as I reached the door, she spoke. Quiet. Hoarse. The night Jamie's dad left, you were 13. You handed me a blanket and said, "Don't cry. You're the strongest woman I know." I turned around slowly. I remember, I said. You didn't cry. Not in front of me, anyway. I did. After you left. She stepped toward me, her arms loose at her sides now. Her voice almost broke. You were just a kid, and you saw me more clearly than anyone else ever did. She was right in front of me now. I don't want to lose that, she whispered. I swallowed. You haven't, I said. And then I did it. I touched her face. Her cheek was warm beneath my hand, but she didn't lean into it. She just closed her eyes, like she was trying to remember who she was before all this. Before today. Before me. I let my hand fall. Slowly. Quietly. Ava, I said. You don't have to say anything. But I need to. She opened her eyes. They were shining, but she wasn't crying. Not yet. I don't know when it changed, I said. Maybe when I saw you at the store. Maybe before. But I stopped seeing you as someone I shouldn't want. And started seeing you as someone I never forgot. She inhaled slowly. That's not fair. Why? Because I want to believe you. And that makes me feel pathetic. I stepped back, but not far. Why does wanting something make you weak? Because I've lived long enough to know it doesn't stay. People don't stay. I didn't have an answer for that. She walked to the window, rubbing her thumb against her palm like something hurt that wasn't visible. I thought I'd feel in control, she said. If this ever happened. I thought I'd be the one holding the line. I let the silence sit for a second. Then, you still can. She turned around. Is that what you want? For me to pull away so you don't have to? I didn't answer right away. No, I admitted. I just want to stop pretending I don't want you. It was quiet after that. No sounds. Not even the fridge anymore. Just her breathing shallow now. Like something was cracking open behind her ribs. Then, finally, I don't want to ruin your memory of me, she whispered. You're not a memory. She blinked hard, like she didn't trust what I'd just said. Then she stepped forward, one hand on my chest. You feel too good to be real, she said. I covered her hand with mine. I'm here. Her fingers curled against me. Her forehead touched mine, and we just stood there, breathing the same air. She was shaking just a little. I didn't point it out. I'm scared, she said. I am too, I said. But I'd rather be scared with you than safe and wondering for the rest of my life. That broke something in her. Or maybe it fixed it. Couldn't tell. But when she kissed me, it wasn't soft. It wasn't sweet. It was desperate and real and full of years neither of us had said out loud. She pulled back after a moment. Looked at me like she was checking to see if the world had ended. It hadn't. I smiled. Still here. She let out a shaky breath, somewhere between a laugh and a sob. Then she said, "Then stay." It didn't turn into a movie scene. There was no sunrise montage, no dramatic declarations in the rain. The next morning, she made coffee in the same oversized tea she'd worn the day before. I sat at her kitchen table, rubbing sleep from my eyes, wondering if what we'd done was something real, or just something that filled the space between loneliness and desire. But then she passed me my mug. Black, no sugar, exactly how I took it, and her fingers brushed mine again. Same as yesterday. Only this time she didn't flinch. Neither did I. We talked that morning. Really talked. About what it meant. About what it didn't. She said she wasn't ready to be something. Not in a public sense. Not yet. I said I wasn't in a rush. She stared at me for a long time then, like she was trying to believe I meant it. Like she wanted to say, "You'll change your mind." But didn't. Instead, she said, "Then I need to learn how to not push you away." That was the moment I knew. We were choosing this. Not because it was easy, but because we'd finally stopped lying to ourselves about how much we wanted it. Jamie never found out. Not right away, at least. She said it would come in time. I didn't argue. We didn't hide. But we didn't announce. We let it be ours, quiet, slow, flawed, and private. She painted the hallway the next weekend. I held the ladder. She let me pick the color, sage green, a little too moody for the light, but she said it reminded her of something steady. Like me. I moved into a sublet a few blocks away. Close enough to come over. Far enough to give her room to miss me. She told her sister. Eventually. Her sister didn't understand. But Ava smiled after the phone call. Not because it went well. Just because she realized it didn't matter if it hadn't. I'd never seen her glow before. Not the kind of glow people talk about, filtered and fake. I mean something deeper, softer. Like being seen for the first time had let her see herself again. She still got scared. Still reached for the exit in her mind sometimes. But I stayed. Not because I was trying to prove anything. Just because I wanted to. And slowly that was enough. They say some things are too complicated to survive. But I think love doesn't have to be simple to be real. Sometimes it begins where it shouldn't. Sometimes it takes years. A look, a cracked pipe, a faded blue t-shirt and a second glass of wine. What matters is what happens after the moment. When you stay, when you choose, when you mean it,